Hello, everybody. This is Teen Title Talk with Erin.
And Courtney,
This is the podcast.
where two librarians discuss two YA books every 2 weeks.
Today we'll be talking about Where Dreams Descend by Janella Angeles.
And We Are Not From Here by Torres Sanchez.
But before we do that, tonight we're going to try out a slightly new frame. If this works, we'll continue to do banter, book talk, and then book buzz for those wanting to know what we're excited about in the book world. So first up, we have to dip into the Jar of Teen Angst as usual. First question is, tell me about one of your quirks as a teen. Something that was unique to you.
What is it to be a teenager if not to be quirky? Or even just like feel like you're quirky. I don't know.
I could not think of one. I'm like, I guess I could consider everything a quirk. But I landed on one.
Did you land on your penchant for Chaucer?
No. Is that what you would have chosen?
As your quirk? Maybe.
This is not something I've shared with you, I don't think.
Oh, I'm excited to hear it. You tell yours first, because can't.
You didn't have any quirks, I know. I'd say my quirk.
No, I'm definitely.
Mine was lunch anxiety. So I had like a fear of getting hot lunch.
Really? In high school?
Yes. And because I never did. Like I never ever got hot lunch. Maybe since like the 4th grade. So by the time I reached high school, I was like, I'd never done it. I didn't want to do it. It was too late to ask, It was too late to be like, where do I go to get the hot lunch? Even though I could just follow the people going in to get hot lunch.
Oh my gosh.
I just kind of figured there was a lot of unwritten rules about how to go about this process. And I'd never be able to navigate it.
So did you ever manage it?
No, I didn't do it.
You've never got hot lunch?
Maybe it might still be a fear if I ever had to do it again. I'll probably dream about it tonight.
Oh my gosh. I'm just thinking about all the times I got hot lunch in high school. And how I loved it.
You did love it, okay.
Oh, I loved hot lunch because it was a la carte. So like they had.
No, it was a buffet.
Yeah. So yeah. So like they had the lunch for the day, which was, whatever they were serving, but like nobody got that. Everyone just got a chicken burger with fries.
Yep. Okay. That was at my school as well. So
get that every day. So like that's what I got. I would get a chicken burger with ketchup on it, fries on the side.
Wow.
Or a bagel with cream cheese.
No, you're kidding me. But plain cream cheese or veggie? Like, could you get?
Oh, it was plain. They did not have options, really.
That I would not be as excited about.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So that was mine. I did, and I'm guessing if I forgot my lunch and had money, I would starve.
Wow. You wouldn't even have your friend be like, hey, friend, you go to get hot lunch all the time. Go up there and get me a brownie.
No, because there would have been an admittance of I have not done this and I'm 18 years old.
I completely understand. I can sympathize fully because there were lots of things I didn't do because I felt like by the time I got
to it
that old, everyone already knew what they were doing. So I
right.
didn't join band because I was like, I don't know how to play anything. So how can I join band? Everyone already has been in band since middle school.
Right. I don't know how to play the clarinet. Like, why would I join band?
Exactly. Little did I know that nobody knew how to play anything really. And they were just all faking it anyway. So I guess I could have joined band, but I thought I couldn't.
Right.
And all my friends were in band, but I wasn't.
It's the place to be.
It did. To my strange little mind, it did seem cool, even though it was obviously uncool. But I was like, I think maybe one of my quirks was that I was so paralyzed by not wanting to try things that I might be bad at.
Yes.
That I literally did nothing.
Right. Well, we have the same quirk.
So, I was in a couple of clubs and stuff, but I didn't I started and stopped so many things. Like, I went to the first meeting one year, it was probably sophomore year. I went to the first meeting of like the drama club, and all of these like senior thespians were like blah blah blah. They were all best friends and like sitting on each other's laps, and they all knew each other and had inside jokes.
That's
and I was
very
like,
theater for you.
I'll never make it. And I left. I was there for 5 minutes, and I was like, I'm not gonna last. And
that's how it was for me and soccer, and me and softball, and me and field hockey. And I think then I quit. I didn't try another one of those. I was like, I'm good with this. I will go to the theater now.
Yeah, so then the same thing with band, same thing with chorus, even though like everyone's in chorus.
I didn't join chorus.
Oh, see, all right. I was like, there's like 100 kids in chorus. No one can even hear you because there's 100 other people singing.
That's a good point.
You could probably just mouth it, and who would even know?
The teacher would know.
That's true. And I was still like, no. They're all so good at singing.
All
right. So yeah.
Speaking of not being good at stuff, I wanted to know how you did on your SATs, because it came up in a meeting the other day, and I was like, God, we're still doing SATs.
So didn't they change the way they
scored it?
You score it, and so it's slightly different now.
Why? Do you remember your exact score?
Yeah, I got a 1280.
Oh my God.
But that's not even that good.
Oh, I'm sure it's like double mine. I don't remember that being.
It's not that bad. It's very average.
I bombed mine. I think at one point I was so tired, and I was like, I think I'm just gonna I'm just gonna look at the dots and fill them in randomly.
Here's another quirk. I'm a little freak, and I like standardized tests.
Oh my God, what? Did you practice it?
I took the PSAT,
and
I had like little books that I would practice in.
But not out of joy. You weren't like, I'm gonna go practice the PSAT. This will be fun. But
I did enjoy it.
Yeah. This.
Like, I love like that freshly sharpened number 2 pencil, filling in those teeny tiny dots like so perfectly. How shiny the graphite is inside the little bubble. Yeah, I loved that.
Horrible. I don't know what to say. It's great.
I felt some kind of accomplishment. Like,
also, it got you into school. I'm sure it helped out, because I ended up going to, it didn't matter for me because I went to art school for my whole life. So
for my whole life,
I went to art school until just a minute ago.
Well, if I had ever thought about the fact that art school didn't care that much about your SATs, I might have been more interested in art school, to be honest.
That's true. That's fair.
Because I got into a couple schools, but I definitely didn't get into some school. Like, I didn't get into UMass Amherst, for example, which I was like, that's a giant school. Everyone gets in there, and I didn't.
I know. And that seems like it would be a fun school to go to. Like New England-y, very New England-y college.
Yes. And I mean, yeah, it turns out later in life I realized you have to be really smart to go there. So.
Oh. Yes, book smart, Court. You have a lot of smarts and creativity.
Thank you.
Don't. Who cares?
So do you. We both are talented in our own way.
That's right, in different ways.
What does the SAT even tell us? Nothing. It just tells you how good you are at filling in bubbles.
And I was horrible. But I enjoyed the ride over. I had a nice chat with my friend.
Oh, did you have to travel far?
Yeah, ways. Burlington, I think. Or no, even farther. We had to go to Rice. I don't know where Rice is.
How far was that for you?
Huh?
How far was that for you?
It was only like an hour.
I had to go about an hour too.
Huh.
I had to go to like the beach, to the seacoast.
I'm glad that I don't have to now drive an hour to fail a test. Like, that's one good thing about being an adult.
Oh no, you can just fail in your everyday life over and over. in your own home.
Exactly. Get out of bed. It's like 1 minute, and I'm failing first thing in the morning.
You're
How I do feel during the pandemic.
succeeding at failing.
Every step of the way.
Oh my gosh.
All right, let's talk about books. So we're doing this slightly differently tonight.
Yes.
The book part will be a little shorter, I'm assuming.
Yes.
So first off, let's just talk about yours. We Are Not From Here. What's it about?
Okay. So We Are Not From Here follows 3 best friends who are so close that they're like almost cousins, you know, when your parents are really close to somebody else and you like call their children your cousins even though you're not.
Right.
So it's like this. They're very close knit. They're from the same town, obviously, called Puerto Barrios, which is in Guatemala.
Okay.
And through certain events, there's basically a bad guy who comes back to town after leaving for a little while, and he comes back with the goal of basically creating this like gang empire. And two of our main characters, Pulga and Chico, have the very bad luck of witnessing a murder that this guy commits. And he basically blackmails them and says, like, if you want to live, you will join my gang and do anything that I tell you to do. Otherwise, yeah, I'm going to kill you and your family.
That's terrifying. Is this contemporary or what genre would you say?
It's contemporary.
Okay.
And so these characters are like 15 years old. And so suddenly they're not going to, like, they're skipping school so that they can help out this guy, Ray, but they really don't want to. They don't like him. This is not the life they imagine for themselves. And at the same time, the third character is Pequeña, and she is 17, so a little bit older, and she's just had a baby that she did not want at all. She was raped, and the baby became a baby. And
yes.
Yeah.
As they do.
And so she's very like emotionally disconnected from the child, and they soon realize that they really have to leave town if they're ever going to have a life at all.
Okay.
And so they decide the only thing that they can do is escape from their town, travel through Guatemala, and then through Mexico to the United States.
Okay. Wow.
So the book is that journey.
That sounds really intense. What did you like about it? Because I remember you being like, I love this book all week.
I did. I really loved it. I think the author does a really good job, an amazing job at giving. So she only gives you 2, even though there's 3 main characters, she only gives you the perspective of 2 of them. So it flips back and forth between Pulga and Pequeña. And I thought both of those voices were extremely convincing, different, authentic, which I really loved. But I think what I loved when she was Pequeña's voice, because there was sort of like a magical realism to sort of how Pequeña views the world, which was different than the other characters. She sees things, she feels things. She has this kind of sixth sense almost about certain people or about events. And so she has visions. And so I just really liked that because I thought it felt really, I don't know, connected to how I would imagine a young girl who's gone through already so much trauma, and is going through more constant daily trauma as she tries to escape from this traumatic event in the first place, that like, how else could you even deal with it than by constructing these sort of imaginary worlds for yourself? And I thought that was really, really well done and really beautiful. The imagery was incredible.
That's cool.
Yeah, it was really nice and like really evocative and like emotional.
Mm-hmm.
I have not cried from a book in a very long time, and I cried almost through the whole thing.
Oh my God. Okay. This sounds incredible. Were there any dislikes?
So I have one minor nitpick problem with the book. And it's that I knew who was going to die first from the first page. Like, I just knew it.
And we're not going to say, are you not going to?
I won't say who, but I mean, as soon as you read it, you would know anyway.
Okay.
And that kind of, I don't know. I mean, maybe that's comforting because, you know, maybe it gives you some hope for the other characters, but it kind of bummed me out because the character that dies first kind of is your stereotypical first character to die. So he's sweet and fat and, you know, like...
Oh, come on.
I know. So I really liked him. So I was like, no, it's going to happen. Oh, it happened.
No.
I think that's my one sad thing, but that's it.
What was something special about it? I mean, it sounds like it's all special, but did something stand out at you as being like extra over the top special?
Extra over the top special. I mean, I listened to the audiobook and I think that the reader, the narrator, the person who they hired to do the voice work for it was really, really good. And so I definitely, if you're into audiobooks, recommend listening to it because I think that it really, I mean, because she was able to capture a lot of the flavor of the language because there is some Spanish sprinkled throughout it and the pronunciation of certain words and stuff like that. It made it feel a lot more authentic, which I really appreciated.
Absolutely.
So I think that's definitely something that made it like even better.
Wow, that sounds awesome. Okay, so audiobook if you can, but sounds like an amazing title no matter what.
Oh my gosh. I loved it.
Would you give it, like how many stars would you give it if I...
5 stars for sure.
Wow.
5
okay.
stars.
I don't know if I've ever asked you how many stars and you ever gave anybody 5 stars. So.
I would totally give it 5 stars. And I like, not just because of how, like, there's a temptation, I think, that when a book draws that kind of big emotional response, to give just 5 stars or whatever because you're like, it made me feel something. And so, like, that's really good and important. But I just really think that it's the total package. Like, you're feeling something, but you're also, I don't know, you're just really immersed in the world. The imagery is incredible. Like you see, like they talk about La Bestia, which is the train that they climb on and travel through Mexico on top of. And it's well known. You can look it up on Wikipedia. And like just the way that it's described and you feel like you're really there with all these people and you see all of these little, like, they're essentially ghosts, just these people who come and go, and I don't know. It's just, so good.
We both picked really good ones this time, that means.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear about yours.
Well, let's do it.
Let's do it. What was yours about?
Oh, okay. So, Where Dreams Descend. It's been compared to Phantom of the Opera, Moulin Rouge, Night Circus. I mean, this one had, like...
I already love it.
Right, so I'm like, oh my God, will this live up to my expectations? I'm not sure. But it was very good. So, as you can imagine, there's lots of performance and magic in this book. Talia, who's a showgirl, has this, like, powerful fire magic, and she basically escapes a controlling magician, master magician, for the town of Glorian, where she takes part in a magic competition to become headliner of the Conquering Circus.
Ooh.
The high stakes of the competition has something even more sinister waiting in the wings. So there's like this ever-present danger between this person who's the predator, this master magician, named Jack, and then there's this mysterious undertones, and also the competition becomes very dangerous because you have magicians battling against each other for top performance, and they're very powerful. So it's got a lot of intensity. This book has brooding characters, romance, magic, theatrics. It's a viewpoint novel, but Kali is the primary narrator.
Is there someone underneath the stage wearing half of a mask to cover his hideous face?
Singing? No.
What did you like about it?
So as a theater geek, I think that the theatrical elements were my favorite. They were exceedingly well done.
See, this is sometimes your critique of
no, which is weird, and I don't pick a lot of theater books because I'm going to be picky about it, but this one was great. Janella's writing is so descriptive, and I could really see and feel the magic. So, as they say, theater is all smoke and mirrors. And in this case, there's a very real manifestation of that saying. And when we're actually seeing the conquering circus, there's this sort of life to the writing. There's an invocation of noise and rhythm and step-by-step showmanship. The magic moves really quickly, but it's also very visual. So, for instance, there's like the scene where a top hat is full of lights and baubles come out of it. And then the fire is there and it becomes birds sweeping through the audience. And you just see all of it so visually. The writing is so descriptive, and it's got this fast pace where it's very cinematic. There's a nice dynamic between performer and audience, so it has this live theater feel. And I think because of the realness of the magic, the competition becomes really intense and dangerous. But I'd say even beyond just that performance part, that the world building, both in and out of the magical elements in the theater, felt very entrancing. It kind of was the same thing you're talking about, where you felt like you were there and you felt like it was very visceral. I felt the same way with this one.
Now, is the magic real? Like, is it magic or is it illusion?
It's magic.
It's magic. So it's not just like regular old magician.
No, this is magic. This is power.
Woohoo, I love that. Is there anything you didn't like about it?
I hated Jack.
Oh no, well, wasn't he the bad guy?
Yes. So at the beginning, Kalia is this showgirl, and it's at this place called Hellfire House, and Kalia is basically being gaslit by this horribly toxic magician master named Jack. And I was like, oh my God, I just got out of the Welcome House in Good Luck Girls, and here I am in Hellfire House, and I'm not going to hang out here. Like, I am going to bail so fast on this book if I'm here for very long. But Kalia manages to fight through the magic very quickly. She realizes, like, wait a minute, I was leaving, and then now I'm back here, and there's something weird that I remember. So soon she's out on the open road. Of course, the danger's still lingering, but she's got agency and power out in the world when she's headed to glory. And so I was incredibly happy when she broke free, but he continues to pursue her, and he like paints himself as a protector and a good guy, and I wanted to vomit.
Are you supposed to like him though?
No.
All right. So that's good.
If you are, then there's been some missteps, because the toxic masculinity is wafting off of him.
No, you're probably supposed to be.
It's definitely bad.
I hope he gets defeated. What was something special about this?
Okay, so I would say the thoroughness. It felt like the whole package. So sometimes we talk about how a book has really strong characters, or sometimes it has very lush settings or great plot, but it's lacking in the other stuff. I felt like Angeles seemingly takes her time to give the full picture, or she has a great team, right? It felt like everything was coming together. The dialogue was thorough, descriptions were gorgeous, the characters were interesting, stood on their own 2 feet. I didn't really detect any like lapses in plot or logic, and it felt really well placed. So I think it just had everything. Also, just like you, bonus, treat yourself to an audiobook. It's read by Imani J. Powers and Steve West, and it's so good. I could listen to
2 readers.
Yes. Well, it is multiple viewpoint. Imani J. Powers does the most because it is mostly with Kalia, and I love her voice, and I would listen to her all day. I would actually seek out, I think I would seek out other audiobooks by her just because I think I'd like find that comforting.
Wow. Well, that's really important because like, there's nothing worse than slogging through an audiobook where you don't like the reader.
Right. And that happens from time to time.
Yeah.
But
that's good to know.
So,
People listen to audiobooks this time.
Yeah, which I don't usually. Actually, I'm not a very good audiobook listener. I just was like, I gotta like be out moving around, and I figured it would be easier this time. And it, she really captured my attention. So
cool.
All right, let's move on to a new element we'll do each week. There's so much to keep up with in the book world. Let's move on to book buzz. So what book news are you excited about this week?
All right. So for this new segment, I feel like we need some kind of like some kind of like buzzy, fun music. But so something I'm excited about is the Felix Ever After TV show. Amazon Studios has bought the rights to Facing Calendars Felix Ever After. They're turning it into a show. I don't know when it's coming out, but that is very exciting, and I think it'll be really cool. And it's a
great. And it's a series, right? It's not like a movie.
Correct. It's going to be a series, and it's really awesome. And I can't wait to see like how they do it and who they cast and how it goes. I can't wait to watch it.
Awesome.
And let's see, something else I'm excited about is the companion novel to Woven in Moonlight called Written in Starlight, which basically sounds like the same title, but it is different. And it's by Isabel Ibanez. And I am excited about it. I loved Woven in Moonlight.
And I think we did talk about that one on the show, right?
Yeah, it was beautiful, and I loved it. And it's coming out next year.
Awesome.
And then I am also excited to read, it's already out, but I think recently, called Don't Ask Me Where I'm From by Jennifer De Leon, which is a coming-of-age story of a Latinx young woman who goes to a new, predominantly white high school. And it also, so it's dealing with that, and also her undocumented father gets deported, and so sort of like how that affects the family and her future and his future, and how you can find a future in a country when it feels like it doesn't want you.
That sounds really interesting.
So I'm excited about that one too. What are you excited about?
I am psyched about the upcoming book by Ibi Zaboy and Yusuf Salam titled Punching the Air, and that's about a wrongful conviction in the Central Park jogger case.
Oof, yes.
Another one I'm excited about, I know I've talked about it before, it's just here. So We Are Not Free by Tracy Chi has arrived. It's a multi-viewpoint novel about Japanese incarceration during World War II, and it's based on Tracy's own family history. If you subscribe to her newsletter, she talks about the history behind the book, and she talks about having those conversations with her family.
Whoa,
documents. It's really, really good stuff. So she also does a ton of great promotions, so signing up for her newsletter is a great idea.
Is it a novel or a graphic novel?
It is a novel, but it's many viewpoints, I believe. I think there's like 14 different stories, voices. So I can't wait. I have it. I'm starting it. I already started it. It's very good. And then this might not be world book news, but it is for the library. Our awesome local comics and game shop, Midgard, donated a massive amount of brand new comics to our collection because they are relaunching as a Midgard hobby and games.
So they're going to be less comics, more games?
Yes.
Oh.
So our patrons can look for shiny new comics in the collection soon. And obviously visit Midgard for all your hobby and game needs because they are awesome.
Yes, thank you, Midgard.
It was a significant donation. It's literally, the meeting room side B is quite full of comics.
Wow, that's awesome.
Yeah, we were all very excited, so.
That's super, super cool and doesn't happen a lot.
No. Well, that's a wrap on today's podcast. I wanted to let listeners know that you can now ask your smart speaker to play Teen Title Talk. You just say, Alexa, can you play Teen Title Talk on TuneIn? Isn't that great? It took me a while to figure it out. I said
wow, I love that. Very alliterative.
All right, listeners, wherever you're listening, thanks so much for joining us. And don't forget to drop us a line at any time by emailing us at teentitletalk@gmail.com.
Thank you for joining us for Teen Title Talk. This podcast is brought to you by the Derry Public Library and Derry-CAM, Derry Community Access Media, empowering independent voices. Wherever you are listening, if you enjoyed this podcast, please rate and review it. Our theme was created and performed by Banded Starling. Until next time.
Bye.